Okay, we are now going to have a quick demonstration of the component parts that make up this growing system, given to us by Robert Patterson. Robert, go ahead.
Okay, so there are basically 5 things that plants need to thrive. One of them is a safe place. The bin provides a safe place. Predators can't get in from any side. Flying predators can't do anything about that. They're going to get here. Okay? Second thing they need is water. There is space here in the bottom for 10 liters of water with drain holes on either side. So it's just physically not possible to overwater. Okay. That's the bin. The aeration screen, perforated, cut out in 2 corners, and with a tube hole, goes in so that the tube hole is over that flange. You see the flange of 3 stripes there at the bottom?
Yes.
That's going to keep the tube on an angle. So you just drop it in, it clicks in. The tube goes in that hole and rests right up against the corner. So it's at that slight angle that allows an airflow for the water to come out and air to go back in. Okay? The cover, the mulch cover, black one side, white the other. We're just going to hold it for a little while. We'll put that on at the end.
Okay, so that's it without any soil at this point.
So we've covered a safe place. We've covered water. We've also covered oxygen, the third thing that plants need. Plants can't grow in a vacuum. So where the drain is, there's about 1 centimeter space that's just oxygen. That allows the soil to breathe, that allows the roots to breathe. Next we're going to drop in the soil. This is a custom mix that is made for us here in Toronto. It's 40% worm castings, 55% peat moss, and 5% vermiculite, perlite. It's organic and you use it for years, over and over again. Don't throw the soil out.
Don't throw it out.
So, the first bag we just jump right in. And you'll notice, Robert, they're in the cutouts. Come on. The soil is just going to drop down in there, and those are the wicking points. That's where it's going to touch the water, and it's going to shoot upwards. Those are the capillating points or the wicking points. Okay? If you take a handful, you'll notice how lightweight this is. And that's because it has to allow that circulation of the water. Right? If you had a very dense, thick compost in here, the water wouldn't shoot. Okay? So we're going to take a next bag and we're just going to fill it up to this line for now. Want fertilizer? Okay. This is a 568 NPK 568 granulated fertilizer. The little beads are Chris, I'm losing the word. It's magnesium and calcium. It's the dolomitic lime that you need, especially for the fruiting vegetables like tomatoes. So you're just going to mix that around, and what's going to happen, Robert, is the water will wick up and it will break down the granulated pieces, and it will actually transport them to the roots of the plant. So the plant doesn't really have to go looking for anything. The food and the water come to it. Yeah, it's like if you're at home and your wife brings you a beer and a sandwich every 2 hours. You don't need your legs, right?
Get rid of the legs.
You see these dark parts, that's pure worm castings there. And they break down as it goes on. And that's enough fertilizer for the year, even for melons or watermelons or corn or whatever you want to do. There's no need to refertilize. So we're going to build this up until it's actually mounding over the top, because when it gets saturated it will sink. So you want it higher than the rim right now. Mm-hmm. You good with that, Chris?
Pardon me?
A bit more?
A little bit more.
Okay. Okay, now we're ready to plant. And the question that comes to mind is, are we going to use the mulch cover or not? The mulch cover helps keep the humidity in. Mostly we use it, but if you're going to be planting carrots, for example, or radishes, you're going to want them everywhere, so you won't use it. If you're going to be, well, we're going to be planting kale and peas and basil, so we're going to use the cover. If you're in cold weather, if you're starting these in April, for cold weather crops, you put the black side out to absorb the heat.
Okay.
This time of year, we're going to put the white side out. Okay?
That's right. Makes sense.
It'll make about a 3 to 5 degrees Celsius difference in the soil temperature, black to white. Do you have access to some water right now, Robert? Let's wet it down a little bit first.
So it does seem rather easy to assemble.
Foolishly simple.
Yes. But it is important because the individuals that we work with here, some can handle this and some can't. But we want to get them involved, especially as you and I have discussed about employment opportunities going forward as well. So Robert is now watering using the official Reno water gun.
So we're going to put the cover on. Generally like to start away from the tube. Like a shower cap, you hook it over. You gently pull it along. The third corner, the fourth corner. Make a hole. And there you go. Okay?
So this
Now.
keeps the weeds out, and it keeps the water from evaporating away.
Chris, I left my scissors in the car. Can you go in there?
Yep.
You want it?
How many are we doing?
Let's do 3 kales and 2 basils. Okay? Robert, I couldn't find too many different plants this morning.
Yeah, this time of the year you don't find that much plants out here.
But the basils will be ready to eat, and the kale should take you right into
So
November.
3 of the for the kale, and then how many for the second row? 2.
And then again, Robert, once these are ready, what I want to do is I want to take them to the Bernard Patel kitchen and let the chef take a look at them and see how they've evolved for him. Okay, so now we're getting the pre-bought plants.
These are the basil. So you can see we cut a hole. We're going to make sure we have enough space for the plants.
So you put it all in it, or
Yep.
you would space them out one by one?
What I'd recommend, Robert, let it go like this, but bit by bit. Give it 2 or 3 days to acclimatize, as it used to be in there.
Yeah.
Then as you start to use it, thin it out. And leave them, the ones that are healthiest, leave them to grow up.
Okay, let's see where you go.
So we use the container to make sure that we have enough space. And then we place the plant in and just make sure that it is properly surrounded by the soil.
It's a little trick that I do to make sure that we have enough space for the plants.
So the other box we're going to start from seed. You can start from seed or you can start from transplant. If the plant is, if the seed is smaller than a beet, the beet seed is like about that big. If the seed is smaller than that, I'd rather start with a transplant.
So what I was going to do is at the end of
Beet size beet size or larger, it's fine to start with the seed.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video at this point where we've got this planter done, and then we'll go through the same procedure, but this time with the seeds. So this is taking semi-grown plants already, planting them and continuing to grow. How much do you think that now weighs, Chris? The filled-in box?
Right now, without water,
Without water.
25 pounds.
Yeah, about 25
25 pounds without water in it right now, which is easily movable and combinable.
So, Robert, you're going to put a little water at top, just because these are transplants and they're sad for the moment. Fill up the bottom.
Guys, to get to the ashtray, please.
Yep. Which
Hold
one
on.
do you want? This one or this one?
That one. I can't get there because of the bags and the bin. What are these? Kale?
Yep. And
Basil?
you got it.
Bingo. We're trying to simplify growing here.
Yeah. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
So, Robert, today you're going to fill it all up with water so it comes out.
Yes.
What's going to happen overnight tonight is it will suck up all that water. So it'll take quite a bit again tomorrow. After that, you don't have to water except for every maybe 4 days.
Sorry, does that mean refilling the reservoir a couple of times?
So only for the first day after planting, you water a little bit through the surface.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you only need to water through the tube. Because if we fill up the reservoir, it'll take about 24 hours for that water to percolate to the top, in which case some of these roots, if they're very dry, could get too dry.
Okay.
So that's why for the first day only, we water a little bit through the surface. Otherwise, the wicking and the water cycling through
You will get up there.
does the job.
But the 10 liters we're going to put in here is going to be entirely absorbed in the next 24 hours.
Let's try to measure.
Oh,
Make sure how many
this
liters.
is
It's like a 5.
well, we don't want to fill it all right now unless we're going to leave it here.
No,
We
it's
want
gonna
to-
stay here.
Because it's heavy.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna sit here.
Okay.
If this is going to stay here, then we can fill up the whole reservoir,
If not, just tell us where you want us to put it.
and then we'll fill it up.
Put it inside here?
Yeah, I can put a piece of ply over here, and then you could use this for. I could drop it in here if you want.
Okay, we'll take a look at that in a second.